Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a really cool episode, and it will involve doing two tech tasks all into one, which, you know, it's a good thing. Saves me time, but they both are related, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. So today we're going to be talking about podcasts. Okay. Now, we're going to be talking about a podcast that I found that I think is honestly really, really cool. Not even just for like teaching or using it in the classroom. I think it's cool for yourself or anybody just to learn, honestly. And I'm going to be talking about how I can use this in a classroom. But I'm just going to start by talking about what it is and why I think it's cool and how you can find it useful. Alright, so let's go on and look at what this podcast is about. Hello?
Hi there, this is your Domino's Pizza calling, letting you know that your order is on the way. Please remember to leave your porch light on. Thanks again for choosing Domino's.
My pizza's here. That was good pizza. Oh, wait, where were we? Oh, right. So this is gonna be a little awkward. I was doing my video, and I did it all, and I was getting it done, and I accidentally hit the wrong key, and I deleted a part of my video. And this is why you'll see the video, and you'll see being wearing like a maroon shirt and then wearing this one, but now my maroon shirt is in the washer, so I kind of can't put it back on. So this is gonna be a little awkward, but just pretend nothing happened. But what I was saying in that part was the name of the podcast, which is called Science Versus. And what it is they use science versus a certain topic. So science versus the coronavirus, science versus astronomy. The latest one I've watched was called Science versus Milk. And what it did was it talked about the different types of milk that people drink and the myths and facts that people claim on it. So which ones are better for the environment, which ones use more water, which ones use less water, and so on and so forth. So that is what the podcast is called, and it is really neat. Really hope you enjoy the rest. First, I want to start with talking about all the different cool things that the app has to offer. There's so many different topics, and they're honestly not that long. Some of them are 10 minutes, and that's all it needs to be, honestly. You get the information, you learn, you debunk the myths, and that's that. There's so many different topics that are relevant to what's happening today in today's world. For example, what happened at the Capitol out in Washington, what's happening with the coronavirus, what about things about the vaccine. We're talking about so many cool and interesting topics, and I think that maybe if you are curious about certain things and you want to know more, I feel like this podcast is a really, really good resource to go learn some stuff. If you're like me and don't have a lot of time to, do your own research because, you have school, you have work, you have family, you have friends, you just got too much going on, then these 10-minute podcasts are really good because they do the research for you and they provide you with legitimate research that they've done, and they provide you with the facts and the myths of the topic that you're interested in about. So with that podcast, I've watched it for a while now, and if I have ever questions about a topic, or I want to know something, I always look to see if they might have like a topic that is kind of like relatable, and I will always find something really really cool, and I will learn from it. And honestly, it's helped me out a lot. Now I feel like I'm more like educated in certain things, in certain aspects of life. So I think it's really great. I think if you want to know more about certain things, I think you should definitely take a look at it. And then they look at everything pretty much. Now, if we're talking about bringing this into a classroom, and how would I do that? There's a couple of ways that I would do that. I would maybe show a podcast to the classroom. For example, let's say we were talking about diseases, and one of the podcasts was about talking about the coronavirus and the vaccine. Those ones would be relevant to the stuff that I'm teaching, so I would get the students to listen all together, and we would listen and learn a little bit more about it. And then we can write a little write-up about it. We can do some extra research and stuff like that. Another thing that I thought that I might want to do would be give them the podcast where they can look through all of it. And what they can do is they can pick a topic that interests them. And like I said, some of them are not too long, some of them are longer-ish, and they can listen through them. And what they can do is they can learn about that topic and research it. Now, they got some information from the podcast. I would get them to use that, their own thoughts, and what they have researched themselves, and then have them present it in the classroom. So that way, all the students get to learn about different topics, and they become more educated about certain things. So, for example, I watched the one about the different types of milks, and which one's more environmentally friendly and which ones are not. And there's probably a lot of people that don't know the differences, and they don't care to know, or maybe they're just too lazy to do the research to know. And if I went into my classroom and I showed up and did a little presentation about the podcast that I learned, now everybody gets to know a little bit more of it. And if they ever get into a situation where they're asked certain question about it, they have some knowledge on it, and they'd be able to have a conversation. Or if it's a class or if it's an assignment, they'd be able to respond to those things. So I think this podcast is really, really cool. Make sure I'll drop a link so you guys can go click on it and watch a few episodes if you guys like. I would really, really recommend it. Like I said, if it's for your own personal use, great. You'll learn a lot of cool stuff. You'll learn a lot of facts. You'll learn a lot of myths, and that way you know your facts and your science. But if you want to use it in a classroom, I would really recommend it. I feel like the kids will really enjoy this kind of activities, because you're not just reading out of a textbook anymore. Now you're listening, and you get to go on this website and find it and listen to this person talk, and have this other person have a conversation and talk about whatever topic you picked, and have them tell you some facts, some true facts that they've done research on, and they'll get you to tell you some myths. And it's cool because with Facebook and all these social media nowadays, anybody can make a myth and anybody can say anything, and a lot of people will believe it. And as soon as you see a headline that is somewhat shocking, everybody jumps into a conclusion and believes it. Not a lot of people take the time and effort to actually research what they were just looking at. So then they'll spread out all these myths, and people start to get really serious about these myths, and they start to believing it truly, and it can cause really bad things. So this is really cool, just for quick topics, and it just tells you some cool facts, and it kind of tells you the truth. And I would recommend that you all should take a look at it. But thank you for listening to me again, and I hopefully have a couple more blogs to come out, and you hope you guys enjoy them. Bye.